So lately I've been looking at different products, things that I want to make by hand to include in my own mystery box. I want them to be unique. I want them to be made by my hands. And I thought of the fact that I used to make these rolled beeswax candles. And mine were always, I felt, a little different because I would include um, things like powdered herbs to really bring out the scent. And if you've ever made these before, now this is a half of a sheet where I have cut it in half to make a shorter beeswax. Normally it is twice this wide, and I measure it and then cut it in half. So I cut a little bit of wick, enough to meet the end, and then with a little bit hanging off the top. So I've got laid out powdered patchouli. You see I've got a heat gun there, powdered angelica, and my spirits anointing oil. Spirits anointing oil is for connecting with spirits, connecting with guides. It could be used for connecting with ancestor. It's for connecting to the spiritual world. But I really like the way that beeswax candles burn. They're so even. To make these, you have to heat it up just a little bit with a heat gun, not too much, and it'll begin to melt and get sticky. But the way you start them is you just get a little bit on the end heated, and you sort of pinch it around the wick. That way you can go ahead and get it really secure before you start to think about rolling it into a candle. You want to get it in there. It's pretty simple to do. It's mainly a matter of keeping things at an even pressure on both sides, because it can get crooked if you go too quickly. So there, you see I have the entire wick encased. So I'm going to add some of the oil first. And it doesn't really take much. You could use essential oils and simply drop them on there. You could use fragrance, but you don't want to put too much in. Now this is an anointing oil, so it does have fractionated coconut oil in it, and along with essential oils, and I always add a bit of fragrance to make mine more interesting. So here I'm adding the powdered patchouli. Once again, not much. You don't want it to be so much that it would become a fire hazard. You want it enough to be, number one, included in as a magical ingredient. Here I'm adding the angelica root powder, which is very strong. I love the smell of angelica root powder. Sort of brush it in. You will have to take the heat gun and bring it back up, and a mistake. Here, what have I done? My heat gun has one setting, and I really need to replace it with one that has both a low and a high setting, because as you can see, I may have gotten it a little bit heated, but I've blown the ingredients all over the table. So here I have to start again. So I will be ordering another heat gun in the very near future. And then you just begin rolling an even pressure using your fingertips. I have seen other crafters roll from the opposite end towards them. To me, this didn't work for me. I just couldn't get a grip or feel of where it was going. I needed to be able to push it away from me. So if you're going to attempt these, you should see what works best for you. I did try it. After seeing several videos, I did try to pull it towards me, and it just didn't work. I suppose it could have if I had taken the time to practice that, but I've always done them this way. In the past, I have made them in, you can make this and then make another layer around it. You will have to change your wick size. So when you get it completely rolled, you just sort of pinch it closed. This one turned out really well, nice and tight. Pretty round. And what I do is I simply press it down at the bottom to make sure it goes out flat. And that is actually how you make a rolled beeswax candle. Super easy. Trim just a little bit off the wick. Don't do it too close. You want enough for it to burn away and to continue to burn. So at one point, these will be in some of my mystery boxes.